Hello, everybody. My name is Janderwood.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm Sandra Rosner.
Podcast listeners might know our voices from the 3RPG podcast, but we're here to talk about Secrets from an Old Shoebox, a game that's now, well, you're probably seeing this video on our updates. What we're going to do today is, rather than explain what the game's about, we're actually just going to run through a shortened version of a round of the game so that potential backers or people who are interested in this game might have an idea as to, like, well, what do you do? How do you play this game, right? So
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we should say that Chris has been absent because he's been moving, so please excuse the background. He literally just moved into a new place.
Cleaning supplies right there.
So he really is coming into this quite blind.
Well, this is good. This is one of the perks of this game is that you can just pick it up and go, and players, you don't have to go through a lengthy rules explanation to play this game. It's a pick up and go kind of game, indicative of many of the RPG zines available on Zine Quest this month on Kickstarter. All right. So the first thing that we've had to do before we started recording was to prepare a bunch of things that we can draw text from, i.e. realia, books, magazines, menus, whatever. So I think it would be kind of fun just to bring out like what we've brought to the table, what we might be drawing on for creating some of the memories as the first step of the game.
Supporting Kickstarter. I supported this Kickstarter 2-3 years ago. It is called the Herbalist Primer. So that is number one. This one is a cookbook, an autographed cookbook actually, called Fiery Ferments. And sorry about the inverted camera. Yes, Fiery Ferments. It is actually very good. You want to make kimchi or sauerkraut? My third book is calling back to my original profession. This is Gemstones of the World, which I've had since my earliest training. And the truly fun one, and I just literally grabbed whichever random one on the shelf, is Weird New Jersey Magazine. This one happens to be number 18.
The idea for the devil.
Yeah, these are from the 90s, and I love them. And I still have these all like perfectly preserved from that when I was living there.
That's awesome. Chris, what do you got?
All right, I reached into one of my boxes that I'm trying to unpack. I got some comic books here. All right.
Yay!
So we'll see. You might hear Magneto's name pop up.
Do you want to regale us with which comics you've brought out? Yeah.
So I brought out this one is called Awkward. All right. This was something that was written by Svetlana, one of my friends from school, actually.
Oh, cool.
Shout out.
Yeah. And also another one from her is a Night School, which is a comic that she
cool.
wrote and also illustrated. So
Very cool.
And then the last one is Die. It's like a D&D comic book. It's pretty cool. The art is
cool.
amazing, and yeah, it's
On brand.
on brand.
Okay,
So I got
so
those three books.
I've brought a little collection of things from my bookshelf. I've got Baudelaire, The Flowers of Evil. Fleur de Mar. I've got Beyond the Pleasure Principle by Freud. From there. I've got Holjoki, The Visions of a Torn World from Kamo no Chome, a very classic bit of Japanese literature translated. Umberto Eco's Foucault's Pendulum. Beethoven's Letters. And Deleuze's Negotiations. So we'll see what I can draw.
Oh, I'm so glad I went the other direction. I was like, history book. Wait, I know what Jay's doing. He's going to go academic, so.
Yeah. All right. So in a game of Secrets from an Old Shoebox begins with two phases. The first of the two phases is called the Pieces of a Life, which we're going to sort of do a shortened version of that. And the first step, there are several steps to this. The first step is poignant notes, memos, and letters. And each one of these steps is two parts. Create and then an amend section. So what we do now is we just take a few minutes. Usually you could set an egg timer, 1 or 2 minutes. We will, for the glory of video editing, it'll just be instantly
watch
over. Watch us quietly read through tomes. Is just go through your selections of books, flip through, find an interesting little paragraph or a page number if you'd like, jot it down on a piece of paper, and then just do that until the timer has run out. Okay?
All right.
Sandra, let's start with you. So now once we've created all those memos, we then take them and throw them into the box. Now shuffle them up, random. We've got a bunch of collection of things that are the pieces of a life that are central or surrounding the life of our main character, who is called the poet. We now move on to the discovery and remembrance phase. Now, backers of a certain tier will be able to get bespoke cards that have all these on them. Other backers of the PDF will have to use simply a deck of cards like this, of which we'll reference in the rulebook the cards that we're going to have. So right now, I will just draw you both 2 cards each and tell you what they are just by the name, okay? And the rest of the details of the cards, if you choose to use that one, I can explain later. So maybe just make a memo of the cards that you have in your hand, and then you can choose them as you see fit, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Sandra, your 2 cards are affection. And then next to affection, maybe put in parentheses, family or friend. And then substance, self or chorus. Those are your 2 cards. Okay, Chris, your cards are creativity.
Yay.
And then in parentheses, love interest or work. And the other card is leisure. And in parentheses, self or chorus. Of course, you wouldn't reveal these cards to anyone else, so I will keep my 2 cards.
What the?
Secret. It's not a game-breaking thing.
I know. I'm just joking.
Identity.
I'm just joshing you. If that's what joshing does.
Joshing.
Josh, get out of here! All right. Great. All right, so now we would begin the more RP section of the game. Well, I should have noted that before we started, we could have chosen a genre element, which we could have coded our ideas to a specific, to try to find quotes that are more horror inclined or adventure inclined or romantically inclined, but we've just going flat for a general story, which I think is the preferred method. Yeah, I shouldn't say I think. Cut that part out.
You.
All right, so let's begin. Sandra, why don't you start us off here, and I'll roll the dice for you. At certain points in the game, it's called determine, which is either random roll or actually just choosing the part of a life that you want this event to come from. So do you want to roll or do you want to choose from an early part of the person's life, a middle part of the person's life, or a later part in the person's life? That is, the late is an abstraction towards very close to the moment of discovery of the box. It doesn't mean that the person is older or dead, though it could be. We'll find out as we go along.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with late. I don't know why I feel like very strongly towards that one.
Towards that one. Okay, so
It's at the top of the box.
So you're going with late, so it's at the top of the box, perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. In which case, now we have to randomly choose a memory from the box. That is the things that we have prepped before. Because we're doing this online, we don't actually have a box in front of us, so you're just going to have to determine from either Chris's list or my list, or I could roll randomly for you if you prefer.
Just random roll for me on that one.
All right. So 1, 2, 3. It'll be from my box. 4, 5, 6. It'll be from Chris's. It's a 1, 2, 3. It's mine. I have 9 selections from 1 to 9. Do you want to choose, or would you like me to roll?
7.
Okay, 7.
Lucky 7.
Okay, 7 is my photo.
Oh, shit.
So revealing from the box would have been a photo of 2 figures who are sort of giving eyes to each other, sort of seductively, indicating some sort of love. However, one of the figures' faces has been scratched out. All right.
Ooh.
So now you have the choice to make between the 2 cards that you have, and now this is where we kind of discuss together what might this memory have been in this person's life. So the motivation card that you have implies the kind of active agent or the passive agent. Who was this photo going to or from? There are no names on the card. We can say that this is the poet. This is the poet. We're not know for sure. Though the agents that are going to be involved are the ones in the parentheses that I mentioned before. So it's self and chorus. That means it's directly related actively or passively to the poet, who is the main character. If it's chorus, it is like the world surrounding the poet. It's not directly related to them. It's like a photo that they may have found, or like a school photo or whatever. So which motivation card do you want to play, and how does it relate to this? And in the late period of the poet's either life or one of the final things that they've entered into their shoebox before closing it up and then finding ourselves to that.
I think this is going to go pretty heavy into the subsistence and itself. And I'm going to say that the scratched out part of that photo is the poet.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Very interesting. Okay, and substance. So in this case, the active agent, so you've chosen the active agent as in the poet. The poet seeks substance in order to feel or inspire physically and mentally healthy in connection to food, shelter, work, through eating, wearing certain clothes, resting within a environmental or social setting. So starting with there, now we can kind of discuss what we all think, and then we build the scene, and then we RP it or journal it, depending on the type of game group that you want. If you do journaling, you could also begin writing the story that surrounds this photo, but these are the conditions now that begin the basis of the scene.
Yeah.
So, okay, you said the active. Let's talk.
Yeah. What I was kind of thinking was that rather than the atypical that you scratch out somebody that you hate in a photo, you're removing yourself from that situation. So whatever that previous love was, they're now actually choosing themselves. They're not being stuck within that relationship, whatever was going on. And this was the ultimate, like, giving that up, is just removing yourself from the photo instead of destroying the photo itself.
So, but they've kept the photo.
But they kept the photo, which is very intriguing.
As a reminder.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, we do have another character here, and these characters may have been somehow romantically inclined. In this case, we can establish a relationship to the poet if we'd like. You said the active agent is, so the person who crossed out the photo was the agent themselves.
Yeah.
But who might be this other person?
Maybe someone that they respected, right? Like maybe like a professor that they really respected.
Also, it's a platonic romance in that sense. Like there was something that like they love to the degree they love to a degree of sort of like of deep respect. So that it was a respect moment, and for whatever reason they kind of crossed themselves out. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So we can establish that as a friend relationship. Okay, great. And then at the end of every scene, what you do is you would roll 2 dice. 1 dice for an unforeseen event potential, and the next is for a relationship status change. Okay, so I'm going to roll first for the unforeseen event. If I roll a 1 or a 2, there is 1. If any other roll, there's no unforeseen events that are in relationship to the event that we're creating. This poor person's life. I rolled a 6, so nothing happens. There's no other kind of wrench thrown
Catastrophe.
into the work. However, now the established secondary relationship with this other, who is a professor of sorts, we would memo this down onto the kind of the journaling part of the character sheet here. Well, not character sheet, the play aid. I would roll again, and this would indicate a deterioration of the relationship.
Oh.
So do we want to add a little bit more about that? Yeah.
I mean, the obvious, if we're building on the story, that it used to be platonic, it used to be respectful, but maybe the other person was the one who was.
Maybe it crossed the line.
It crossed the line, right?
It crossed the line.
And the removing themselves part is like, well, I'm just not going to be a part of it. I'm going to just rebuff whatever the term is. The advance rebuff. But you still respect them. We're telling stories here, but it's still fun.
2027 new Kickstarter Reboof. The
Reboof.
RPG. Excellent. Okay, cool. All right, so I don't think we necessarily need to roleplay that scene because I think this is something that might come up later. But we're starting to set up a character. We already have so much more information about our proverbial poet and his relationship to a professor of swords.
The professor.
That is down the line. Yeah, excellent.
Good news, everyone.
And now you can already see that's the first of
Yeah.
Crazy.
many things that we've already have created this character from nothing, right? Okay, of which since the relationship deteriorated, I would go over to the relationship status table, look at friends, and then move the token towards, we had rolled previously that it started with a close relationship, that moves it down towards strained. That relationship is now strained at some point, or became strained at some point within the poet's life. Great. All right, Chris, why don't we move on to you then for another poll from the box.
Alrighty.
Do you want to choose a time period or randomly roll it?
I like the randomness of it, so let's go for that then.
I knew you would choose that one. Let's see. Oh, and to come up with it had Sandra not chosen later life, and we said, okay, that this was some part in the early period of the poet's life, then that would have totally changed what we thought about what we were just talking about. Like it would have been to other characters that are surrounding. Maybe it was the parents of the poet or whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to roll a dice randomly. The first roll is 6. So this is again in the late period.
Okay.
And this will be a 2. Depending on where you had placed this within the late period, there are 3 slots within the late period. Having done that, we would have taken that card, placed it down on the table to indicate where it was. So I guess, Sandra, since we didn't do that, you can tell me where this would have been in the late periods, like towards the end of the story, or the middle of the late period, or the beginning of the
I'd say the beginning of the late period.
So okay, so then the scene that you're going to draw then is after this.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now you have to draw a memory. Do you want to draw from mine or Sandra's, or
I'm
random?
gonna go from Sandra's.
Okay, I also had 4. I didn't include the photo, so just so there's actually 4.
Okay. All right. So you have from 1 to 4.
1 to 4. Lucky 1.
Lucky 1.
I don't know.
All right, so this is reading what our first step was.
Yeah. What was your creation of number 1? Yeah.
Okay, it is a like a torn piece of newspaper, but on the back in Sharpie it says Vineland Drive-In 7:30 filming a movie! Exclamation point.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now you have to play a motivation card.
All right. I think like creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Creativity.
Well, it was creativity, and who is the active or passive agent? Yeah.
Well, so it says love interest or work.
Yeah. So work includes school, passions, work as writ large, as in the work one does in one's life, right?
I think we go with work then.
Okay. Interesting. So what do we think? Then now the poet is like, are they related to the film industry perhaps? That's possible. That's a possible idea. Or maybe they're a film reviewer. So they went to the movies, or someone went to the movies. Perhaps the newspaper is a memory of something that happened at this theater, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't mean to quarterback here. It's your card. So you establish the scene here, Chris.
Can you please read that one more time?
Sure. It is Vineland Drive-In, 7:30, filming a movie! Exclamation point.
All right. What I imagine is like after this almost like breakup with this professor, they decided to go and reinvent themselves. They wanted to try something entirely different, and they found new people, like new friends, maybe off of like a Facebook group or something, and decided, okay, let's try something new. And this is their first meetup.
Ooh, okay. So,
Doesn't know what to expect, has really, no expectations, but trying something new.
Right. We haven't even established how old this person is at the time of this. This is happening towards the end of the memories that are within this scuba. But at any point during the game, the players can choose to say, okay, no, he's older. He's this. Well, it's clear they're clearly of a dating age.
And also of importance is even the era in which this is all taking place. Like we've now kind of boxed it in with the drive-in, but drive-ins lasted for
Facebook
decades.
Drive-ins and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But they found it on Facebook, so it's happening more adjacent.
Oh
to,
yeah, there you go.
What we could be honing in on is that this character might actually be related to, in a fictional way, one of us. Actually, who's discovering this person. Maybe this is a long lost sibling or a cousin or an uncle or even a parent, if you want to get really kind of deep with it, right? So these are the possibilities, but we can already see this life starting to kind of emerge from the box.
Well, they're filming at an abandoned drive-through. No, drive-in movie place.
Okay.
So like, it's been long, all the speaker boxes are rusty. And no proper maintenance.
All the grass growing up everywhere and
Coyotes.
ooh, coyotes.
So they're filming at the drive-in. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a scene that takes place at a drive-in rather than the drive-in playing the scene, right? So it's like it's reversed in that way, right? So he's kind of like he's part of like the film, or she is part of the film crew that is or like coming to watch this filming process, we think.
But this is their first time though, right? They don't know what they're getting into.
Right. Very cool.
Fun.
All right. Okay, we'll move on to the next memory, and then I think I'll do one more, and then we'll move on to the narrative crossroads. This is an interesting element in the game. Okay, so I'm going to do a random roll here for time period. 3 middle period. So this is all prior to what has just happened, and then again this is early middle period.
All right.
And Chris, we haven't seen any of your selections so far.
Already?
So why don't we go with yours? You have from 1 to 6. Let's
Yes.
go with 3.
3, all right. All right. So this was found in a book. All right. This is like a torn page out of a book, an actual torn page, and they've highlighted it. They've used a highlighter for this passage, and it says, the tired face of an angel, the promise of redemption for this tortured soul.
Okay. The tired face of redemption.
The tired face of an angel, the promise of redemption for this tortured soul.
All right, my card is the 10 of diamonds, which is understanding. And it's in order to inspire discipline or intuition in connection to a literature, teacher, or policy through study, meditation, or investigation within a school, family, or university. So I think we continue on with this, this sordid romance that we've done here, and we say that this is when things started to cross the line. This is when it started to cross the line. So the photo may have been it was placed later on because after the scratching out had happened.
Yeah.
But this was a and I get to choose because a diamond is a free choice as to the agent who is active or who is passive. And I think that I want to make it that the educator here, the statement that you have just read out, Chris, seems kind of in a sense somewhat literary, and so it would be that this is where it crossed the line, where the teacher then sent this letter to the poet as like the first kind of the first attempt to
To woo.
our things are to woo. Yes, exactly. That was the moment. That was the moment, right? So right now our story is completely focusing on this sordid romance between a teacher and a student. We don't know what else is happening there, but we should see it through to its conclusion in some degree, right? Very interesting. Anything you guys want to add in this? So it was the motivation card I have is understanding, and that was why they sent it. It said, "Are we on the same page?" It's basically what the teacher was trying to say by sending that letter to the person. Like, do you get it? You are my angel. Oh gosh.
Oof. Now, this is a really good time to mention, though, that we are strong supporters of the X card. So if a story ever does go into a direction where a player's not comfortable, they're definitely put a pause.
Exactly. All right. So we have done a turn, which now brings us to a point where we have to make a narrative decision, which is part of the narrative crossroads element of the game. That is, we can continue on telling the story as is, which is sort of a story that is quote unquote grounded within a real possibility that would have happened within life, or we can now add genre elements to the game. Or this is again a determination, which is in the rule book, is we can either choose or randomly roll to now pivot the story in a certain way.
No.
So what do we want to do? If
I feel like we should.
If we choose to not roll, we continue telling the story of this regular person who eventually we'll have to give a name to. But do we? I think for the purposes of we should
we know we can tell this story, but what if we get one of the a crazy genre mashup? And I think we should do the challenge.
Zombie apocalypse.
All right. Here we go. I will roll one fantasy. Okay. So we are now moving into sword and board, magic, fairies, and Tolkien kind of territory.
Or
here.
urban fantasy. You can be urban fantasy too.
Or urban fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes. So this will be the first of three pivotal moments in the poet's life / journey. And the thing that we have to decide here is the desire formation of identity. This is established by drawing a card from the deck, from the box. These are pre-made, predetermined. You draw, if you're using a random deck of playing cards, you take all of the kings, queens, and aces and throw them into a deck card, so it's going to be random every time what you get. Backers will have, with the bespoke deck, will get all of these prompts written on them. But we would draw a card that will help us give a foundation towards how the kind of fantasy element and the first pivotal moment, which is the formation of desire, to then with fantasy coded to the poet's life. Okay, so let me draw a card here. The card is the Queen of Spades. The prompt reads, "It is your destiny to learn the truth." Okay, so now we discuss.
And we should also mention, though, that these charts are all in the book, regardless of which one you purchase. We do have these genre expansions within the rulebook.
Yeah.
In some ways, this poet learned the truth.
He can't handle the truth.
He can't handle the truth.
And couldn't handle the truth, right?
Well, I kind of want to establish something else that's happening in the background beyond this romance. I think this sordid romance that's happening, and I think this was something that maybe got in the way of finding the truth. Right, and now we have to think of something fantasy oriented. We don't
I
have
mean,
to, we don't have to nail it down, but we have to kind of move towards something. Yeah.
Okay, well, we move into magic and potions and things. So what if the poet didn't realize he was being like magically influenced?
Charmed.
Charmed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And that's
So we
the
gotta go
truth
back to-
telling, And
So in the end, they ended up scratching out their own face.
oh, maybe that's part of breaking the charm.
That breaks the charm. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Really cool. Okay, so this school we've just created like the adult version of Harry Potter. Dumbledore's making advances. All right, so yeah.
To my office, Harry.
No.
Right, so maybe this school, it was like some sort of like alchemy school that they were learning, that the poet was learning about, how to make certain potions that do various effects.
Yep.
And their goal was to create a potion of sorts. That was their goal. And then what they came across later on was, another, professor that was teaching them how to create these potions that was doing something untoward, right? And then they got in the way. Yeah, right. Exactly. So we basically hit an act break. I think we do one more card just to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
It's too juicy. It's too juicy.
Yeah, this got seriously hot.
All right. So Sandra, back to you now. Back into the box you go.
Don't put me in the box.
You would have drawn another card, by the way, since you used your last card, which was creativity, I believe.
Substance.
Substance, yes. Okay, the card that you draw next is 8, which is protection. The active agent seeks protection in order to feel or inspire love, adaptability, or control. Well, we really seem to be leaning into that theme.
Yeah, right.
We can pivot. There are other things that are happening. It's not, one doesn't merely put all of the thoughts and memories of one particular moment in their life into this box. So there could be other strands that we can break off into if we want to. Okay, let's see what memory you draw from the box. Would you like to draw from mine or from Chris's? Or random?
I feel like I should draw from Chris's at this point, since I drew from yours.
Okay. So Chris has from 1 to 6, but 3 has been taken.
All right, random roll that one for me.
And for the purposes of the playtest here, we're having to kind of code all these things, other than whereas you would actually draw and pull them out, and there'd be something of a fun reveal that happens. You'd like a random roll. Okay. So it's a 4.
4. All right.
All right, 4. Okay, written on a small note. All right. Trying to hide all this information, almost like maybe they folded up and given to them. The only thing stopping us was him, bending the rules. He'd let us go if we became his prophets, spreading the word about this place. We were never going to do that.
Oh my
Ridiculous.
God!
Crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Well, I think we have a story here, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
That's
Oh.
crazy.
We have not determined a time period. You can roll randomly or choose.
I mean,
We already have 2 of the 3 late periods already.
I feel like it has to be middle. Like, we gotta honor the middle tension here.
Yeah, all right. So this would have to be after the situation that I had described earlier, which was the kind of the first wooing attempt by the professor. Then this happens afterwards. Yeah.
Wait,
You have to play a motivation card.
wait, wasn't yours the earliest one? No, your early middle.
It was the earliest of the middle. Yeah. So you have to be after that.
Okay.
But prior to the scratched out photo.
Oh. Ooh, there's like, ooh, how do you weave this? How do you weave this? I mean, it seems like the so you have
I'm there, yeah.
so you have the romance element, and then you have kind of like things are going to start falling apart. So I feel like there's a broken trust moment here that really leads to the whole breaking of everything. You know, do you trust me? Are we going to go against this person? We've learned something about this plan, and somewhere in that, like, thinking that you've got an ally that's not actually your ally, because then you discover the charm thing. So maybe this person was actually on the wrong side of this kind of conflict all along, and the poet couldn't see it until that moment.
Well, what is the motivation card that you're playing?
Oh, protection.
Okay, and the protection was... I'm sorry, I didn't give
Active
you
agent.
the active agent there. No, it was club, so it's family or friends.
Maybe one of the poet's friends is being targeted by
a warning.
Yeah, and then you go to the professor for help, and you discover that they're also not what you were expecting.
So the poet's kind of trapped in this sort of bit of intrigue here.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Labyrinth
I like
of
that.
emotions.
And you
So
like
we
to protect the friend or to stick with kind of the romance element. You're like having to choose at this point.
So we've established a new friend relationship, which we have to roll to see where that goes. Deteriorates.
Oh.
So things did not go well, despite this attempt.
Oh, I wonder like how critical though. Like deteriorate can mean a lot of things too.
So perhaps the memo that you had drawn from the box was written from the friend to the poet as a warning about the professor for doing whatever, because they were first. Like the friend was worse.
Oh.
And then because the poet didn't kind of like listen.
Yeah, you
like,
never
memory
trust the
is still
friend when you've got
in
the lust,
box.
right?
and that's why things deteriorated between the two of them, because they like, I warned you about this situation, and then things got a little bit worse. Yeah, we did not establish an unforeseen event, and there is an unforeseen event this time. I just rolled a 1, so we will roll to see what other thing has happened here that we could not have predicted, that is also going to be part of this moment in time in the poet's life. And this is a unforeseen event regarding the mental nature of the poet or the other or the chorus. And the actual thing is a moment of incredulous irresponsibility.
Oh,
Well,
this all matches.
It all just matches up, doesn't it? Yeah, so how do we want to narrate it further here?
Okay, so let me get this straight. So this professor's been doing this for a while, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Making
Like-
charm potions. So this is
Right,
a
and kind of-
bleak story.
Messing with maybe multiple students. Right? Right? And I guess the one friend warns the poet about it, right?
Yeah. Because you're a good bud, you know, you're definitely gonna warn, even if it's gonna hurt them.
But they made the decision to continue walking down that path,
Well, that seems to be it. Yeah. Like,
right?
it's
And
almost
the
like
deterioration.
yeah. There's almost not much more to be said here, because it seems to just fit in perfectly with what the story.
Unless the charm's not about romance.
Right.
It just
Okay,
creates
go on.
the effect of it. So what if the friend discovers that it's even something deeper, that, you know, while you're under the charm effect, this professor's like making you commit crimes, or channeling your essence or something.
Stealing your academic research to produce the data under their own research or something like
Right.
that.
Oh, okay.
Forming some form
And what
of-
if the poet
Manchurian
was
candidate.
Yeah, what if the poet was told all this, and because of the charm spell, which they thought was love, they go, I don't care.
Right, I don't care. Yeah, that was the moment, and then they've kept it. They've kept it as a reminder after the fact.
Yep.
As like a mea culpa. Yeah, that's really good. And on we go, right? And so we do another round of that, and sometimes there would be some melodies or songs that would come up, that we had written down that may influence the story in some way. And every time we finish a round, we get to another narrative crossroads, which we could then introduce a whole new genre element. We could stick within the realm of fantasy if we wanted to. We can pivot over to horror or comedy if we wanted to, and we do that 3 times until we really reach the ending and the sort of the climax of the story, which is what inevitably happened and how did the contents of this box come to us. And what have we found out? What have we discovered? Who eventually is the poet making a large decision at the end? And that's a simple, short version of the game. You can see how this game can be used as a journaling game. All of these rounds could be happening simultaneously, where we all pull something out of the box. We all think of a card that we're going to play. We then write down what's going to happen and then reveal it. But part of the narrative storytelling and kind of group narrative is another method in which you could play through the game. A third way would be to actually play out the scenes, to create these characters and have the moments in which these moments actually occurred, and to say, okay, you play the poet, you play the friend, you play the professor. Let's have a little moment a la Fiasco or something like that.
Drink the potion.
The potion.
Drink it. This is our
protagonist. He's the worst.
I don't want potion.
Burned shoebox.
He's gonna have quite the growth arc by the end, right? Right?
Yeah. Anyway,
So
I imagine they end up, instead of the film crew becomes part of like a theater troupe at the end.
Yeah. Play within a play.
So another important thing is that we have so many prompts we didn't use, and that's going to be normal. Like, you're not going to go through all your prompts in any normal game. So any of these can then be used to springboard yet another story or another version of the story. Oh, yeah, we should show our things. There's mine.
Aww.
They were fishing.
We got mine.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Oh yeah, you don't have to be a great artist.
And by the way, this is a prototype of the whiteboard things that we're going to be using. This is just like the whiteboard section. There's going to be a backing. But I have these all over the place, and I've been using them constantly for note-taking. Yeah, so multiple ways to tell the same story if you wanted, or just come back and keep playing and keep adding to them.
Well, and leaving the items in the box for a subsequent playthrough where you're telling a totally different story, that you're drawing upon memories that could be or connected to, adjacent to, within the world of. And now we've just created basically 3 new characters who can become characters in an ongoing campaign in another game system if you wanted to. This character of a poet, this school, and the friend are all now kind of fleshed out backstories for a character that people can play.
Yeah, this is a good dark academia in the process, right?
That's right. Yeah, what's the name of our story? Dark Academia. All right. Well, until next week, there are still 2 more weeks left of the Kickstarter. If this looks interesting or intriguing to you, please help us out. Support indie developers and give us a back if you feel it.
And one more thing. We are going to be doing a longer live play with all authors. So to see how this tool in the hands of professional creatives are going to... Hey. All right, we are all professional creatives, but if you want to see just imaginations run wild, I believe that is going to be on Sunday, but I will put all that information both in the Kickstarter and all of our socials.
Awesome. See you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.
Yeah, perfect.